A long and heated history between PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, and the Department of Defense resulted in recent congressional action. The National Defense Authorization Act of 2013 is the first legislation of its kind. The act requires the Pentagon to provide a detailed plan to weed out the use of animals in military medics training, known as live tissue training.
This measure in the NDAA is important because it would substantially cut the costs of training for the military, because simulators, unlike animals, can be used time and time again with just a few replacement parts. They only need to be purchased once. They could be shipped around the country. The military already owns a lot of them.
Department of Defense spokesperson Jennifer Alzea, however, says early estimates show the DoD spends 8 times more for simulators than live animals. The animals now used in live tissue training that PETA is protesting are goats and pigs.
Goats and pigs have drastically different anatomy and physiology from human beings. Their skin is a different texture. Their organs are placed differently than human beings. So learning to treat an injury on a limp animal laying on a table is nothing like having to treat an injury of a screaming, maybe a close friend of yours on the battlefield, a human being.
Goodman also says 80% of NATO allies do not use live tissue training, but other alternatives. Spokesperson Alzea says no alternative provides the realism, immediate feedback, and depth of training that the live animal model provides. This battle between PETA and the Pentagon is nothing new, but as PETA grows, so has its influence. PETA employs several hundred people across the nation and internationally. With an office out in Los Angeles, it's headquartered in Norfolk, Virginia, and it has an office right here in D.C. In 2009, PETA submit a FOIA request and found emails between Army surgeons, indicating there is no evidence that live tissue training actually lowers U.S. troops' death rate. But Alzea says the current survival rate for those wounded in combat is the highest in recorded history, above 90%. The report, due last Friday, is now overdue. The Department of Defense is taking additional time to review it before handing it over to Congress. In the meantime, the DoD says it will comply with Congress on live tissue training when appropriate. PETA says it will keep protesting, submitting complaints, and working with Congress.
You know, we'll continue to keep pressure on them until there's not one animal being killed from training in the military.
In Washington, Rachel Ray, District Wire News.